Episode 149, Islam, A Short History, Chronology by Karen Armstrong, World Reading Club. You're listening to World Reading Club, presented by Hakeem Alibokis Alexander on Spreaker, Social Podcasting, and Wisdom, Social Audio Inc., presented for World Reading Club in association with Uniquilibrium. Episode 149 is a continuation of episode 148, where I read the chronology from Karen Armstrong's book Islam, A Short History. The chronology started in the year 610 with the Prophet Muhammad receiving the first revelations of the Quran in Mecca, and 2 years later beginning to preach. In episode 148, I ended with the year 1640, the death of the Iranian philosopher and mystic Mullah Sadra. Here in episode 149, we continue with the year 1656. 1656. Ottoman viziers halt the decline of the Ottoman Empire. 1658 to 1707. Aurangzeb, the last of the major Mughal emperors, tries to Islamize all India, but inspires lasting Hindu and Sikh hostility. 1669. Ottomans take Crete from Venice. 1681. The Ottomans cede Kiev to Russia. 1683. The Ottomans fail in their second siege of Vienna, but they recover Iraq from the Safavids. 1699. Treaty of Karlowitz cedes Ottoman Hungary to Austria, the first major Ottoman reversal. 1700. Death of Muhammad Baqir Majlisi, the influential Shiite alim of Iran. 1707 to 12. The Mughal Empire loses its southern and eastern provinces. 1715. Rise of the Austrian and Prussian kingdoms. 1718 to 30. Sultan Ahmad III attempts the first westernizing reform in the Ottoman Empire, but the reforms end with the revolt of the Janissaries. 1722. Afghan rebels attack Isfahan and massacre the nobility. 1726. Nadir Shah temporarily restores the military power of the Iranian Shiite Empire. 1739. Nadir Shah sacks Delhi and puts an end to effective Mughal rule in India. The Hindus, Sikhs, and Afghans compete for power. Nadir Shah tries to return Iran to Sunni Islam. As a result, the leading Iranian Mujtahids leave Iran and take refuge in Ottoman Iraq, where they establish a power base independent of the Shahs. 1748. Nadir Shah is assassinated. A period of anarchy ensues, during which the Iranians who adhere to the Usuli position achieve predominance, thus providing the people with a source of legality and order. 1762. Death of Shah Wali Ullah, the Sufi reformer in India. 1763. The British expand their control over the dismembered Indian states. 1774. Ottomans totally defeated by the Russians. They lose the Crimea, and the Tsar becomes the protector of Orthodox Christians in Ottoman lands. 1779. Aga Muhammad Khan begins to found the Qajar dynasty in Iran, which by the end of the century is able to restore strong government. 1789. The French Revolution. 1789 to 1807. Selim III lays the groundwork for new westernizing reforms in the Ottoman Empire, and establishes the first formal Ottoman embassies in European capitals. 1792. Death of the militant Arabian reformer Muhammad ibn Abd al-Wahhab. 1793. The first Protestant missionaries arrive in India. 1797 to 1818. Fath Ali Shah rules Iran. Rise of British and Russian influence there. 1798 to 1801. Napoleon occupies Egypt. 1803 to 13. The Wahhabis occupy the Arabian Hijaz, wresting it from Ottoman control. 1805 to 48. Muhammad Ali attempts to modernize Egypt. 1808 to 39. Sultan Mahmud II introduces the modernizing Tanzimat reforms in the Ottoman Empire. 1814. Treaty of Gulistan. Caucasian territory is ceded to Russia. 1815. Serbian revolt against Ottoman control. 1821. Greek War of Independence against the Ottoman. 1830. France occupies Algeria. 1831. Muhammad Ali occupies Ottoman Syria and penetrates deeply into Anatolia, creating within the Ottoman Empire a virtually independent imperium in imperio. The European powers intervene to save the Ottoman Empire and force Muhammad Ali to withdraw from Syria, 1841. 1836. Death of the Neo-Sufi reformer Ahmad ibn Idris. 1839. The British occupy Aden. 1839 to 61. Sultan Abdulhamid inaugurates more modernizing reforms to halt the decline of the Ottoman Empire. Said Pasha, governor of Egypt, grants the Suez Canal concession to the French. Egypt contracts its first foreign loans, or Egypt contracts its first foreign loans. (1857 to 58). Indian mutiny against British rule. The British formally deposed the last Mughal emperor. Sir Syed Ahmad Khan argues for the reform of Islam on Western lines and the adoption of British culture. 1860 to 61. After the massacre of Christians by Druze rebels in Lebanon, the French demand that it become an autonomous province with a French governor. (1861–76). Sultan Abdulaziz continues the reform of the Ottoman Empire, but contracts huge foreign loans, which result in the bankruptcy of the empire and the control of Ottoman finances by European governments. 1863–79. Ismail Pasha, governor of Egypt, undertakes extensive modernization, but contracts foreign loans, which result in bankruptcy, the sale of the Suez Canal to the British, 1875, and the establishment of European control of Egyptian finances. 1871–79. Al-Afghani, the Iranian reformer, resides in Egypt and founds a circle of Egyptian reformers, including Muhammad Abdu. Their aim is to halt the cultural hegemony of Europe by a revitalization and modernization of Islam. 1872. Intensification of British-Russian rivalry in Iran. 1876. The Ottoman Sultan Abdulaziz is deposed by a palace coup. Abdulhamid II is persuaded to promulgate the first Ottoman constitutions, which, however, the Sultan later suspends. Major Ottoman reforms in education, transportation, and communication. 1879. Ismail Pasha is deposed. 1881. France occupies Tunisia. 1881–82. A mutiny of native Egyptian officers joins forces with constitutionalists and reformers, who manage to impose their government on Khedive Tawfiq. But a popular uprising leads the British military occupation of Egypt with Lord Cromer as governor. 1882–1907. 1889. Britain occupies the Sudan. 1892. The tobacco crisis in Iran. A fatwa by a leading mujtahid forces the Shah to rescind the tobacco concession he had given to the British. 1894. Between 10,000 and 20,000 Armenian revolutionaries against Ottoman rule are brutally massacred. So again, in 1894, between 10,000 and 20,000 Armenian revolutionaries against Ottoman rule are brutally massacred. 1896. Nasir-ud-Din Shah of Iran assassinated by one of Al-Afghan's disciples. 1897. 1897. The first Zionist conference is held in Basel. Its ultimate aim is to create a Jewish state in the Ottoman province of Palestine. So its ultimate aim is to create a Jewish state in the Ottoman province of Palestine. Death of Al-Afghani. 1901. Oil is discovered in Iran and the concession given to the British. 1903 to 1911. Fears that the British intend to divide Hindus and Muslims in India following the British partition of Bengal led to communalist Okay. Yes. All right. 1903 to 1911, fears that the British intend to divide Hindus and Muslims in India following the British partition of Bengal lead to communalist anxiety and the formation of the Muslim League. 1906. 1905, death of the Egyptian reformer Muhammad Abdu. 1906, constitutional revolution in Iran forces the Shah to proclaim a constitution. Let's start again. 1906, constitutional revolution in Iran forces the Shah to proclaim a constitution and establish the Majlis, but an Anglo-Russian agreement constitutional revolution in Iran forces the Shah to proclaim a constitution to establish a Majlis. But an Anglo-Russian agreement, 1907, and a Russian-supported counter-coup by the Shah revokes the constitution. (1908) The Young Turk Revolution forces the Sultan to restore the constitution. 1914 to 1918, the First World War. Egypt is declared a protectorate by Britain. Iran is occupied by British and Russian troops. 1916 to 21, the Arab revolt against the Ottoman Empire in alliance with the British. 1917, the Balfour Declaration formally gives British support to the creation of a Jewish homeland in Palestine. 1919 to 21, the Turkish War of Independence. Atatürk is able to keep the European powers at bay and set up an independent Turkish state. An independent Turkish state. The First World War. All right. 1916 to 21, the Arab revolt against the Ottoman Empire in alliance with the British. 1917, the Balfour Declaration formally gives British support to the creations of a Jewish homeland in Palestine. How is that? Interesting. Okay. 1920, the publication of the Sykes-Picot Agreement in the wake of the Ottoman defeat in the First World War. Its provinces are divided between the British and the French, who established mandates and protectorates, even though, let's see. All right, let me go back again here. 1920, the publication of the Sykes-Picot Agreement in the wake of the Ottoman defeat in the First World War. Its provinces are divided between the British and the French, who established mandates and protectorates, even though the Arabs had been promised independence after the war. 1920 to 22, Gandhi mobilizes the Indian masses in two civil disobedience campaigns against British rule. 1921, Reza Khan leads a successful coup. Here we go. 1921, Reza Khan leads a successful coup d'etat in Iran and founds the Pahlavi dynasty. He introduces a brutal, modernizing and secularizing policy in Iran. 1922, Egypt granted formal independence, but Britain retains control of defense, foreign policy at the Sudan. Between 1923 and 1930, the popular Wafd Going back, 1922. Egypt granted formal independence, but Britain retained control of defense, foreign policy, and the Sudan. Between 1923 and 1930, the Popular Wafd Party wins 3 large electronic devices. That's funny. I read that. No. Between 1923 and 1930, the Popular Wafd Party wins 3 large electoral victories, but each time it is forced to resign by either the British or the King. The British or the King. Alright. Continuing. 1932. Kingdom of Saudi Arabia founded. 1935. Death of the Muslim reformer and journalist Rashid Rida, founder of the Salafia movement in Egypt. 1938. Death of the Indian poet and philosopher Muhammad Iqbal. Okay. The Second World War. Yes. 1939 to 45. The Second World War. The British depose Reza Shah, who is succeeded by his son. The British depose, let's start again with 1939 to 1945. So 1939 to 45. The Second World War. The British depose Reza Shah, who is succeeded by his son, Mohammad Reza, 1944. You've been listening to World Reading Club, presented by Hakeem Ali Bokus Alexander on Spreaker, Social Podcasting, and Wisdom, Social Audio, Inc. Presented for World Reading Club in association with Uniquilibrium. This edition's reading focus has come to us from Islam, A Short History by Karen Armstrong. Coming up next, I'll continue. I ended with 1939 to 45, which states the Second World War. The British deposed Reza Shah, who was succeeded by his son, Mohammad Reza, 1944. All right. So coming up next is going to be, I believe, the year is going to be the 1940s, or the years, approximately, storage units, whatnot. Second World War. Yeah. So that's it. I'll continue and finish part 3 next. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but gotta hustle. Alright. Ended off with 1939 to 45. We're going to continue in the book that just arrived. When I say just arrived, I mean I just found it in my storage. Let's see, what else do we have here? The next one coming up is 1940s. The Muslim Brotherhood becomes the most powerful political force in Egypt. All right. Well, it seems like that'll be all for now. World Reading Club, Hakeem Ali Bokus Alexander. Stay well. Yes. All right. Let me put a nice little bookmark in here. 1940s. The 1940s. I'll put this here. And that continues with the Muslim Brotherhood becomes the most powerful political force in Egypt. Get ready for the next episode. The next episode. That will be episode 150. I'll see if I can be getting back on here, but the eyes don't want to stay open. So, That's all, folks, for now. Next reading is coming up next from the same book. We're going to finish that chronology there and then move on to the juicy main sensibilities. Alright, I'm not in this world anymore. Partly I'm somewhere else, so that's a good time to go. My reading was falling apart, but we will continue the chronology of Islam, a short history by Karen Armstrong. Once again, you've been listening to World Reading Club, presented by Hakeem Ali Bokus Alexander on Spreaker, Social Audio Inc. Yes, reading for World Reading Club in association with Uniquilibrium.